Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another day of Dota 2 Super League action. We're still locked in it in Group B. I'm LD, I'm joined by Luminous, and we are about to get underway with LGD International versus RNG Sports. This is Orange's debut in the Dota 2 Super League. LGD already played 2 games. They are sitting at 1-1.
Yeah, Orange, their first game here. They're actually live there in China.
They are.
And Orange is known very much so as a LAN team. So even though, well, they're actually very good online as well. So they're just like
Well, obviously online there's always sort of those questions, right? Because it's on the Singapore server, the Chinese teams don't have the best ping. Orange, a team that has a lot of individual skill, playmakers like Mushi, where having a lower ping, maybe it makes the difference. But now they're on LAN. They did fantastically at the G1 League. Couldn't seal the deal, but a solid effort for them, finishing third at the LAN finals. The draft is underway, guys. We're going to get right into it. Looks like a pretty interesting draft, Lumi. And for RNG Sports, we see a combo that has given a lot of teams trouble in the past, the CK Wisp.
Yeah, CK Wisp has actually got a little bit of a, well, we're playing in 6.78, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so CK Wisp has got a small nerf in the sense that Wisp Spirits will now not give vision. And that's actually a pretty big deal when you're trying to do relocate ganks at night. We all have experience when you try to reality rift and your Chaos Knight horse just goes crazy and never finds a target.
Yeah, he rears up on his hind legs, doesn't pull a target in, and while that's happening, the TPs arrive, the counter gank happens.
Yep. Or they escape.
Exactly. So I believe they do give vision if they actually hit a target, but not just when they're swirling around. Is that correct?
Right. So you have to get really lucky, or
no, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm confusing that with Shadow Demon Poison.
I think if they explode, you get sight.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I'm not sure actually. I know with Shadow Demon Poison, it doesn't give you vision unless you actually hit a target now, but not sure about the Wisp spirits. Either way, they're definitely nerfed.
Right. So I mean, LGD is working with quite fast-moving heroes with both Gyrocopter and Alchemist, most likely going for things like Phase Boot and the possibility of Shadow Blade. In which case, they could get away from these ganks quite easily.
Now, I like what LGD is doing here. Traditionally, the best response to a CK Wisp is a very strong 5-man Dota lineup. If you're grouped up as 5 and you're pushing, unless CK Wisp can outsplit push you, it's very hard to take that 5v5 fight. This lineup is all about finding the pickoffs. They go for another hero that can disrupt that team fight and find pickoffs with the Clockwork. Also solves their vision problems to a certain extent with the Rocket. But I like what LGD have. If Gyro can get an early BKB, Alchemist has generally been going solo mid for most of the Chinese teams, gets the early mech. That's the makings of a pretty strong 5-man squad.
Yeah, but on the same note, Chaos Knight is not exactly a shabby late game, especially if you get to level 16 quick. And his ultimate could do a ton of work, even against Alchemist, even against Gyrocopter. So I don't think it's actually a good point to actually talk about who has a better late game, because I feel like both teams will have the better late game if they have this better snowball. So it's just...
Yeah, LGD fantastic farming lineup, but going to be hard to find farm in the mid game against what RNG Sports have. So how do you feel about the next set of bans coming out? Darkseer banned out by Orange. Even though normally we see the Alchemist go mid, I suppose the Darkseer could be that offlaner. He could build the mech if they wanted, so seems like a decent ban. And the other interesting one, you're up against Orange, banning Queen of Pain.
Yeah, Queen of Pain's a hero that G has employed very well in the past, although they have pretty wide repertoire in terms of mid heroes as well. They're going to pick up support Sanking so far here from LGD.
A lot of AoE.
Yeah, a ton of AoE, and my question is this Alchemist going mid? Because we've seen mid Alchemists predominantly in China. I'm not personally a big fan of how they play it because they go very utility heavy, and I feel like he's just a great farmer. So I expect them to play it on the 1 row, but it might differ.
Well, I think the thought process here is Alchemist, one of the heroes that's better with the Bottle Crow nerf, because Acid Spray has a pretty long duration,
sure, yeah.
Isn't that mana intensive, so he can generally keep the lane pushed out, makes it hard for the enemy solo mid to get into the lane. We'll see actually how Orange lane this, because they go now for an Enchantress, and we have seen on occasion teams like the Alliance aren't afraid to try lane the IO and be pretty aggressive with the jungler early on. So actually, the more I look at this draft, the more it does feel kind of like how the Alliance have been drafting from time to time. We'll see a CK instead of a PA, but that's the main difference here. For LGDN, obviously Mushi's hero hasn't been picked. They'll have one more ban before this final pick, and I guess it could be a Mushi Clockwork. Generally, we don't see him play that. That's more of something that, if anything, he'd probably be on the Chaos Knight, I feel, this game. So Queen of Pain already banned by LGDN. Who else would you be banning for Mushi?
I feel that they really want to secure their trialing. Yeah, given the fact that Nature's Prophet's being picked up, I feel that their plan right now is to get to Wisp level 6 very quickly. You talk about the possibility of offensive trialing. I think they're going to be going defensive trialing and having Enchantress to secure the jungle. And given the fact that there's Nature's Prophet, Sanking, which aren't exactly great early game heroes, I feel like they could actually get away with doing so. So I feel LGD's maybe drafting a little bit too greedily.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their lineup, they've got 2 melee heroes. They've got an Alchemist who can move decently from the mid lane, but is by no means the most dominant mid lane ganker. And Prophet, like you said, not the strongest in the laning stage, but lots of stun, lots of lockdown. If they can weather that early aggression, the early onslaught from Enchantress, come mid-game, their 5-man is very strong.
Yeah, their lineup's somewhat difficult to gank as well. Gyrocopter is deceptively hard to kill because of his spells that could probably kill you as a return. Crystal Maiden receiving a ban as well. So Crystal Maiden has been somewhat on the rise lately in the Chinese scene.
Yeah, DK in particular love to play her.
It's a very aggressive combo with Alchemist. So again, another ban that's really drafted to protect their tri-lane, or 2.5 lane if you call it, with the Wisp CK and Enchantress kind of somewhat showing up sometimes. So I guess Orange drafting an off lane or just a solo mid, because Clockwork definitely could take the solo mid role, especially if it's going to be up against a solo Gyro or a solo Alchemist.
Yeah, I mean, either way, those heroes are going to get levels. You don't expect anyone will die unless Enchantress or Prophet go for an early gank. Sandcane a decent smoke ganker as well. Now, it is worth mentioning we have seen Alchemist played as a support before. That's something mouse sports love to do. Past, often with a Shadow Demon plus Alchemist combo. Shadow Demon, of course, being banned, but there are other setup heroes like Rubik in the pool, so we'll see. I mean, it most likely is a farming Alchemist. If you have 2 melee supports, it's kind of awkward, to say the least, but where does RNG Sports go from here? They need that other solo, like you mentioned. There is a Puck in the pool right now, and that's a pretty common hero. It is going to be on land, so gives them a nice silence versus a very spell-dependent mid-game lineup for LGDN.
Yeah, if you get a silence against Sanking, and before they do anything, that would be pretty big. I'm expecting, or I'm hoping for something like a Pugna here. Recently got buff, really great burst damage, and
what were the recent buffs?
It used to do 33% damage to towers. Now it does 50%.
Oh, Nether Blast.
Yeah, so it does a ton more pushing, and Nether War is actually just insane against heroes like Sanking, Alchemist, who doesn't have a big monopull. It's somewhat hard to actually protect that ward against Nature's Prophet, but you do have some sort of early game pushing, so...
And you can always decrepify the ward if you're quick on the reactions.
Right. That's just a hero I'm throwing out there as...
Not likely to be picked, but would be fun.
Right, would be fun to see. This is a new patch, so we're expecting a lot of new things, but judging from how the draft is going, it seems like both teams are just sticking to what they know best, which is Gyrocopter and Chaos Knight Wisp, and, well... We'll see if there's gonna. Yeah, I mean, we've seen in the West team, we see Spirit Breaker last picks. Yeah. We saw Bloodseekers. So, you know, hopefully there's gonna be something exciting.
I would love to see one of those. I think the Bloodseeker was a bit of a direct counter to Treant because it does debuff the Treant living armor. Puck will be the choice for Orange, suitable choice. I think Clockwork and Puck, such a disruptive combo. Puck holds them in place to set up the CK Wisp combo. Clockwork can just push them all over the place, breaking tethers left and right. Their team fight, even though they only have 2 true team fight heroes, is actually pretty devastating because of that combo. And I quite like this pick for Orange. It gives them a hero that can allow them to take... You can group up the Clock, Puck, and Chant, start pushing, and if CK Wisp join the fight, that's going to be very hard for LGDN to deal with.
Yeah, we now understand why they are banning these kind of supports that could really easily break the tri-lane, like Visage or Crystal Maiden, because they need that Chaos Knight to get farm.
Yeah, I mean, he's their only damage late game.
Puck getting Blink Dagger is nice, Clockwork providing disruption is nice, but you need CK to do a ton of heavy lifting, especially against the possibility of quite heavy armor coming out from Alchemist. And it looks like we're going to see Jakiro. So my question is, whether LG would like to challenge the tri-lane. They have the hero to do so in the form of, let's say, a Jakiro, Sand King, and Gyrocopter, or an Alchemist tri-lane up top. But seems like Alchemist is going mid, as G has selected him as his hero.
I'll let you mull over the lanes a bit more while we introduce the teams. Guys, it's game 1 of a best-of-3 for the Dota 2 Super League. LGDN 1-1 in the group, looking for their 2nd series win here today. Pycat will be playing that Gyrocopter headed to the safe lane. 1437, handling the Jakiro. Observer wards picked up for him. Brack's going to be on that 4-position Sandcane. For those who haven't been following LGDN recently, about a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, they did swap Brax to that support role, put Misery on the 3. G will be handling the solo mid Alchemist, pull a set of tangos, and rushing his bottle. And last but not least, it will be Misery as that off-lane / jungle Nature's Prophet.
Meanwhile, here on the Orange Sport, their debut, well, not exactly debut. They're the first match here on the DSL, and
it's their debut.
Yeah, I guess. for at least for this, I was gonna say their debut in China, but they're well accustomed here in China. They're well loved in China, and it's gonna be KYXY playing on the Chaos Knight. We're gonna see X playing on Enchantress, and Wisp being handled by Net. And are we gonna see some Mushi Puck? Yes, we are on the mid lane. This is a return of the he used to be known as the best Puck in Southern East Asia, and let's see if he still has it. And last but not least, we're going to see Ohio on the bot lane with Clockwork.
Orange have a 4-7 record when Extinct plays Enchantress. Also, that pop-up is very small. That's pretty... Yeah, that's a little bit too small. So hopefully if Valve is watching this, they'll work on it. I know they tried to adjust some of the resolution issues because it was way too big originally on 1280 by 720. But the one thing is KYXY is actually playing carry, something I had forgotten about. But they did make this change recently. So sorry about that, guys. But yeah, Mushi back on the solo mid role. And they now have Ohio as the offlaner. He was playing mid for a while, so they have made a role swap, something they actually did through the entire G1 League Land Finals. And I kind of like it just because I feel like Mushi is just most comfortable and most effective when he can control the tempo and play those aggressive solo mids.
Yeah, maybe they're not really trusting the decision-making of Mushi, maybe on the ultra late game. He does have interesting item choices. He does save a ton of gold before he makes an item purchase. I'm not as impressed with his late game as his, for example, snowball mid-game play. So I'm glad that he's back to the mid-row, and let's see how it works out for them.
Ohio as the off-lane clockwork. Looks like he's already used one set of cogs. He's trying to pull the wave back. Wave will start to push, but
oh
LGD
my god, look at what he's actually doing. He's cogging these creeps into this path on the right side, and they're completely being trapped in because he's body blocking them. This is actually some next level.
This is something I actually saw posted about on Reddit. And what you can actually do is repeat this multiple times. You build up a massive wave, and then if you want, you can push with it, or you just unleash the creeps, and then they go to work. And he'll get some levels off of this. It's going to be very hard to keep that lane pulled back. But Lumi, they've managed to get off that single pull. They'll be going for the double pull now. If they do that, he can stack up all the creeps he wants, but there may not be any Radiant creeps to actually leave the tower for quite some time.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. He missed, I think, one or two creeps.
So he's now stacked up 3. Slowly but surely he's making his way.
Yeah, he's not getting any EXP at all. Like, normally you could be checking runes, for example, or providing a little bit of pressure by disappearing off the map and going to the mid lane, but they know that, hey, a couple of creeps are missing. They know exactly what he's doing. And, well, the pull is non-stop, the deny is non-stop on the mid lane, and there's no necessary pressure for LG to push or anything. But on the other side of the map, they're getting a similar exchange, I suppose. Enchantress farming in jungle was getting a ton of pulling as well as the EXP. He's getting level 2 right now.
Yeah, Extinct is actually getting close to his boots. He's level 3 at this point, has the smoke up, and they have a pretty strong, not smoke ganking lineup now, but around that 5-6 minute mark, right when CK hits level 6, Wisp is getting close to relocate. Maybe that's when we'll see them go, but truth be told, even though they have an Enchantress, well, it'll be a solo gank for Extinct. He's got 2 creeps. He'll lead with the Dark Troll Summoner heading towards the middle lane. If he can net up G, this might be our first blood. G out of bottle charges. Meanwhile, Net's in trouble. Misery hunting him down in the jungle. Net, what happened, my friend? He's gonna salve up, but can he get away? He's got a tether across. He gets caught on the high ground and blown up anyway. The last auto attack following him. Now the turnaround comes from Extinct. Clapped and netted up. On the run as well. I have no idea how Misery found that Wisp and hunted him down, but, well, he may pay with his life here. Rotation's going to come in from Mushi. Orb flies through as well as the rocket. In the end, they get revenge, but that is such a big play by Misery. Solo kill against the Wisp CK dual lane. Didn't see how the Wisp got caught, but once she did, that was all she wrote.
Yeah, they're both contesting for the 2-minute rune that spawned on the top lane, and Wisp just, I mean, it's 0 armor early on. I keep saying this whenever there's a Wisdom game. His early game is deceptively weak and strong at the same time. He over-rely on tether, but there were no tether target anywhere for him to get away, and unfortunately a couple more right clicks, and the boots of speed first was able to allow him to get that kill on Misery.
Yeah, and this is going to make it harder to bring that profit down, at least for the time being. KYXY only level 3, doesn't really have the levels to secure a kill, and more importantly, the Wisp is going to be slowing down her level progression. Wisp is actually one of the better supports for farming the jungle, but getting a bit unlucky here with the Mud Golems and the death, that's going to slow her down quite a bit. So, you know, often, Lumi, we see uncontested safe lane Wisp can get level 6 around, I don't know, the 7-8 minute mark, and at this rate, might be a minute or 2 delayed.
Well, the torrent of creeps has been unleashed on the bot lane and all the confusion, and he's got himself level 3 off of that, the clockwork, but unfortunately, he's now kind of stranded. The problem of having a solo long lane like this, you really can't do too much. You will be checking some runes out, hopefully finding a haste, and maybe setting up a gank elsewhere, but to me, the Radiant is getting a ton of pulling in the jungle, and that's going to be so good for Gyrocopter later on. Sure, Gyrocopter Flat Cannon got nerfed, but it's still a great farming tool, especially if you're stacking 4 or 5 neutral camps like this.
I don't know if you caught the DK game yesterday, but Flat Cannon nerf or not, that did not stop Burning from getting like 650, 700 GPM.
Well, that's Burning. So.
Yeah, it does slow down your farm for sure through the early game and the mid game, but eventually you get to a point where one Flat Cannon kills the entire ancient stack. So by that point, well, it doesn't matter as much, and we'll see if the farm is going to be there. For Pycat, for me, LGD.int's lineup, I look at this lineup, they can go late, but I feel like they want to rush the early to mid-game items. Things like getting a mech up maybe on your Alchemist, your Prophet, get an early BKB on the Gyro, because if it comes to a team fight and Pycat has a BKB, there's almost nothing Orange can do against that. It's all stuns that don't go through BKB, aside from the hook shot, which isn't going to damage you, of course. And cogs no longer affect BKB targets. So to me, if PyK can get an early BKB, LGD into mid game is going to be very, very strong.
Yeah, that also depends on CK, how big he is at that stage of the game, how many Phantasm Illusion. I mean, if PyK gets BKB, his physical damage output is nowhere near where it could be in terms of if he gone for glass cannon.
Who needs physical damage? Call down, flat cannon, rocket barrage. That's all you need.
Well,
it's a fair point, though. It's
yeah,
a fair point.
It just depends on how the game's going. So it's hard to say what item he should be going for even right now, even though he's got a ton of free farm. A lot of players right now, sometimes if they want to really go for the ultra late game, they go for something like a Helm. But we're going to see a TP up top.
Misery. Feeling a little bold here. He's going to run in, but they're sprinting a trap. One teleporting in from each direction. Misery's low. He's not dead yet. Now he goes down. Burrow catches True. This could be trouble. KYXY on the run. He will fall as well, and now Net needs that tether out, but it's cooling down. Well, he has it now. Unfortunately, didn't actually move him, and, well, he was too close to Extinct. Now he's in a lot of trouble. Blown up by G. They're not done yet. They're going to continue hunting, but I think Extinct should be able to get away. Great reaction by LGD, and they TP one above, one below, and Orange just got greedy.
Yeah, as soon as they saw the dive past the tier 1 tower, they know exactly what they want to do, which is pressure that tier 1 tower up top. Immediate TP to tier 2, immediate TP to tier 1, and rotation coming in from Alchemist. So that was some world-class rotation coming out from LGD. They might not be doing so well in the Dota Super League, but they still got it. And great punishment up top, killing the trialing repeatedly. That's the second death to the Wisp. And this, again, it's so important for CK to get powerful. It's so important for CK Wisp as a pair to actually get a ton of ganks off, and these kind of small mistakes will punish them greatly later on.
I mean, call it big mistakes now for Ned, because he's died twice, and a safe lane Wisp not being contested against the solo Prophet shouldn't die at all. The tower dive there, that shouldn't have happened either, so two pretty big mistakes by them. G, under cover of Invis, and he pops it as he's channeling his stun. They may get Mushi now. Ice Path, dual breath follow, but, well, should be enough. He tries to orb away. Can Mushi escape? He will. Now Coils tries to turn it around on G, bottling up, has the silence. Is he going to go in for it? He's going to drop. He overextends. Mushi gets cocky, and Mushi will pay with his life. A third death that was avoidable. Thought he could make a play. He was wrong.
Yeah, I would have gone for it if the Trinity Dragon was not there, but I mean, G was completely safe. He also had a couple of charges of Magic Wand left, so Mushi overestimating his damage output, and as a result, gave away yet another kill that they don't need to give away. Top lane, though, they did get a tower as a return, but the early game, a little bit of rust. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to call it, but a little bit of overcommitment here from Orange in multiple parts.
Now, the good news is they do have a pretty highly leveled Enchantress. You look at Extinct now, already level 6. Impetus is absolutely sick damage, and there won't be a BKB on PyCat for some time now. Let's see what's on that Courier. It's actually going to be, looks like Bracer, so maybe going for the Drums of Endurance first. A fine choice. I personally prefer the idea of him just tanking up when you know CK Wisp. That combo is coming. If you can get a very early BKB, you could start 5-manning, forcing fights, and we'll see what G goes for as well. Up to 1,300 gold. Early mech has been the choice for the most part. You get the phase boots. We saw that yesterday from Super, I believe, repeatedly, and it worked pretty well for him, but almost always after that, the Chinese teams, they like that solo mid-out to pick up a mech.
Yeah, and I expect him to go that mech. We saw him already kind of a big tanky force. He's sitting 900 HP without the ultimate being popped. He's actually quite a good
going
hero.
in now, but Mushi tethered to Net, a rather awkward combo to say the least. And
no Dream Call because he just used it early. Oh, he had Dream Call. I'm surprised that he didn't pop it there.
That wouldn't have been a good fight, though. They've already been burnt once by the tower dives. Now you're tower diving against the Prophet, who's about to hit level 6 against the Gyro.
Well, they had 2 Enchantress creeps in the front. So
that's true, but if you TP in, PyCat with a TP, Brax with a TP, maybe they didn't know about these TPs, but it could have gone poorly. Instead, they're going to smoke up, head the other way. Brax is going to spot the rotation right now, but he gets coiled. He gets orb. He burrows out, but Mushi is there. Follows him with the orb. Silences PyCat as well, but not before the Rocket Barrage comes out. They do get a much-needed kill, albeit on the support Sand King Ice Path just to clean up the creeps. And are they thinking about going for another here? 5 heroes for RNG Sports, diving the tower. Call down is available, but the stun is there. They pull PyCat in. 4-second stun. Just when you need it, it arrives. Teleport. Will it be canceled? Cogs are causing all sorts of chaos. Brax respawns. Looks for the 2-hero Burrow. He will nail it, but is there follow-up? He's caught behind the tower. Mushi's chasing him in, but Providal splashes through. Mushi's low. Orbing out. Can he live? Sandstorm not going to bring him down. He phases. No, doesn't actually get out. Now he's going to TP away, but one more auto attack from Brax will bring him down. Meanwhile, in the secret shop, the cleanup crew was there. They also kill off the Enchantress. Well, Lumi, they dive the tower again. This time they get a couple kills, but once again, I feel they got burnt.
I mean, I thought it was a good dive, but it's just unfortunately how Pycat actually saved for the buyback, or had buyback, and immediately came back in. Normally, you don't expect to carry one row to buyback like that, but it's very convenient, especially for a hero like Gyrocopter, who has a ton of magical damage, like you pointed out earlier. I'll TP in, call down a couple more flat cannons and right clicks, easy kills. So I don't want to say they got burned by Orange Esports. I felt like it was a good early game dive. Take advantage of CK early, take advantage of a puck, but it just didn't work out well for them.
That's a fair point. I mean, maybe burnt isn't the right words, but more just like LGD, they got the turnaround that Orange thought they could get away with. They go for the tower dive. In the end, still a pretty successful engagement for them, considering they did kill Pycat and they forced him to buy back. But Pycat, in the end, still your lead farmer, sitting at 58 CS, net worth, leader there as well. Alchemist, same for him. So our first look at the sort of net worth here. G, if he wants to go towards mech, he's got the buckler and the headdress. Not quite yet, but coming soon. And it wouldn't be too long to complete the mech for him. And as for Pycat, close to an Ogre Club. So Wisp, good news is Lumi off of that fight hits level 6. And that means Orange, now the threat of those TK Wisp ganks come. And look what LGD is doing. 4 heroes grouped up in their jungle, the 5th off the map. They are just not going to show heroes by themselves, at least not too often.
And I mean, KYXY says, all right, if you don't show yourself, I'm going to keep on farming. That engagement also really worked out well for CK. He didn't die, got himself a couple assists, and of course the enemy one row carry had to buy back. So as a result, the net worth gap gets closer and closer in the favor of Orange Esports, and that's what they need on the CK, who's also going for drums. They're tether up, they're looking to relocate for the mid lane right now, and they want G, but, well, they are going to get G, but immediate TPs are coming right back in, pops his ultimate, and that should be a disengage. Even if you don't get a kill like this, you're okay, because you're using relocate to force 2-3 teleport score on the mid lane. That's economic damage, a slightly amount, but again, your CK needs all the help he can get to come back.
I felt like if they had just gotten him a second or two earlier, that would have been a much different fight. The Dream Coil, if G's caught in the river instead of up the hill, if they were able to follow up with a Reality Rift Tether Chaos Bolt after that, should have been an easy kill. He wasn't in chemical range. He was actually unable to get it off before the CK Wisp Tether came, but it didn't matter in the end. So, like you said, impressed that Orange didn't overcommit there, because we saw a little bit of nerfs perhaps for them. They just got to China a day or two ago, I believe, so maybe adjusting to the new conditions. No excuses for them by any means, but settling down a bit and looking for what should be a better engagement. If you're LGD now, you know relocates on cooldown, you can farm a bit safer.
Yeah, your mid could play a little bit more aggressively, which we do see a Sunfire off, not going to hit. G's actually going to be going for Shadow Blade, so my question was, when Shadow Blade got nerfed, which hero still gets it and which hero still do not? And evidently, heroes like Nature's Prophet, Alchemist still rely on the attack speed, the movement speed.
It's just so good on Alchemist, because he's got really low base attack time, so anything that gives him attack speed will synergize even better. You get more effective attack speed out of that. And the other nice thing is for Alch, it lets you initiate with your stun, whereas otherwise you're running in, they just silence you with the puck, they hook you with the clockwork, they reality rift you, and maybe the fight goes the other way. Last nice thing about Shadowblade Lumi, it forces your opponents to buy sentry wards, and for Orange Esports, Wisp has died quite a few times, not much gold on her, even Extinct. Well, he's got 3 sentries now, but no more gold to buy any for the time being, so for supports, it puts a greater tax on them.
For the point of Sentry Ward, they'll still have to get it for Sanking and D-War purposes. But yeah, it's just one more thing that will tax them.
Brax.
They will find Brax. I think Brax is basically dead here. Silence, or they didn't even need to have to use Dream Coil, which, even though it's on a low cooldown, it's a nice thing to have as they're getting ready to pressure on the bot lane.
Watch for the relocate gank. They have 5 heroes bottom if they want.
Yeah. Also, the other really good thing for Shadowblade in this game is that it really would help you dodge those with CK ganks. You can't just with CK relocate anymore, because as soon as that G realizes the gank is coming, he'll Shadowblade out, and you're not going to find him simply because he's moving so damn fast.
They're now going to rotate 3 bottom. They're putting pressure top. They'll probably try to force a TP here. Then they may just give them the runaround and go bottom. They'll kill off Misery. No relocate yet. Burrow Strike going to catch out 2 again by Brax, but he burrows into the tether. This could be trouble. Call down comes as well. Pulled back to base in the nick of time. Meanwhile, the trap was sprung bottom. They found another kill. They're going to come back top, and it's going to be a 2v2. That CK Wisp combo, very strong. 1437 in trouble. Orb is there. They're going to bring him down. No, they just bring the Wisp back. They decide to sack her, but in the end, they get 3. And relocate was used, keep the CK alive. Great usage of the hero by Orange.
Yeah, you talked about the ability of having all 5 heroes on the bot lane at the same time if they want, but the dive up top forced TP. They didn't get the kill, which is really good for Orange Esports, and there's simultaneously another dive happening on the bot lane for Orange. And there was no TP support because, well, they all went top. So Orange Esports getting favorable trades on both sides of the map, and those early game dives, the mistakes quote they made, now completely nullified.
That was super smart. I mean, that's the other way you can really abuse the combo is you put pressure on one lane with CK Wisp, pressure on the other lane with your other 3 heroes. You spring that trap as soon as CK Wisp go in. If they TP one way, they can't defend the other, like you said, and just a great usage of the combo. If that had gone just a tiny bit better for them top, if the TPs were a second slower from LGD.int, I think they get everyone out, or they even kill 2 or 3 there. But for LGD.int, fortunately, able to get the reactions just in time. And well, the trade for Orange, it wasn't just kills. It was a tier 1 bottom as well, Lumi. We now settle into the mid game. 15 minutes in, about a 2.5k gold lead for Orange Esports, around 2.25k experience lead. They're looking pretty good in terms of levels, looking pretty good in terms of farm. And my question is, for Orange, how aggressive do you want to be here over the next few minutes?
I think you keep relying on your relocate ganks. Once it's up, the enemy team has to be forced to play a lot more defensively. Your Enchantress could poke in an enemy jungle and farm. They didn't even only just get the tier 1 power bot, they also got that juicy stack that Sand King has been pulling all day on this camp upper left over here.
Oh yeah, it was at least double or triple stack.
It was double and triple, and with the Enchantress, with Puck, they just slowly whittled that one away. And look at that dagger finish on Mushi, who didn't really have the best early game.
Meanwhile, top lane though, they're going in. They're going to stun KYXY. Wisp is here. Calldown's only going to catch one. Will there be a relocate in time? Ned trying to bring him back, won't be able to do it. Actually, well, he's dead. He's going to go down himself. The relocate never went off in the end. I think he might have canceled it there. And LGD.int, well, a couple of heroes grouped up top. They're going to try to push. Shadowblade up in the Alk right as that happens. And, well, looking for a big fight. Orange, can they buy back? Can they defend? With no relocate, I guess not.
There's no buyback on CK, so they just have to defend this for 10, 15 more seconds. G is invis up, but they do drop the Sentry Ward. Are they going to initiate on him right now? I don't think he could get the kill, and Extinct's going to get caught out here. They've seen him, so they know exactly where he is. He's going to get stun up, Sprouts on top, and here comes Mushi trying to disengage for his team. Orb comes out. And
Hook was there, and Ohio jumps into the middle of fray, but he's now caught in the cogs with a big, bad Alchemist. The double teleport comes in to the tower. Everybody on the run. KYXY hunting Misery. Turns around for a sec. Misery not able to TP. It is on cooldown. He's going to go down. Enchantress finds the turnaround. Orange Esports, it's their turn to get some revenge. No relocate, however. It was used defensively before. Now the silence. Catching out Brax, bringing him back. Actually, sorry, the coil. He broke the tether. That's why he's in a lot of trouble here. Goes under cover of Sandstorm, but a rocket, a cogs can push him out of this. No mana for anything. Won't matter. He falls as well. On the back lines, it's Mushi hunting. It's going to be everybody dying in the end. Gyrocopter, Pycat. Oh, I think... Oh, he actually TP'd out, I guess. Looks like he did survive, but 4 heroes bite the dust. Orange looking for a tier 2 top.
Orange also discovered a ginormous stack here of Ancient Stack right on the Radiant side, so they will be looking to challenge or clear it out a little bit later on. I don't think the Radiant team actually realized that Puck had a Blink Dagger. He just picked it up previously to the engagement. I don't think Mushi even showed it. And as a result, they say, oh, we got double kill up top. We could actually transition into the push. Unfortunately, they just didn't kill Enchantress quickly enough. And easy tier 1 tower TP and Orange Esport right back.
Well, Net in the end, he's got relocate up again, and Mushi is a haste turn bottle. This is a great opportunity for Orange to find a kill. And, you know, it is a game. Often we see teams like to pick Nature's Prophet to kind of punish Wisp in the laning stage. I know Virtus Pro is a great example of that, where they'll maybe run the safe lane Prophet and aggressive tri-lane, and they'll try and shut the Wisp down in the laning stage. But you get to mid-game, and Prophet can really become a liability, where if he's shown on the map, he wants to be split pushing, he wants to be getting the lanes out so that CK Wisp don't have as much vision. Instantly, Mushi jumps you with the silence. CK Wisp relocates. So Misery, well, he's forced to tide in the jungle, and only 46 CS. Looking at the graphs again, it's a bigger and bigger lead for Orange, but the good news for LGD.int is they're farming the stack now, and Pycat's going to have a BKB soon, so the next fight should be a lot different.
Yeah, to me, that LGD has the better farming capability. You can see that Misery, as you pointed out, has basically made a concession of going for face instead. He's saying, I need all the movement speed I could get to get away from CK Wisp. He's most likely going to be going for Shadowblade next. They could just farm all day long because they have things like Flak Cannon, they have things like Acid Spray. They could go fairly late, and you're depending on only a one-row CK that is fighting against 3 or 4. There's a BKB you talked about on the Gyrocopter, and the 5-man is completely ready for Gyro.
Oh, they're even backing up here. Mushi under cover of Haster and is surging in. They're
Pycat
going to look to go top lane, like you said. On to Pycat. He gets off the BKB, but still dropping very, very low. KYXY pulls in Misery to get closer to Pycat, who's on the run to the secret shop. Will he be able to get away? Hard to say. Misery, Sprout cooling down, doing what he can. Jukes for Pycat. Will it be enough? Hard to say. We'll take a look at that in a sec. On the backlines, Mushi's jumped in. Looks to go. It looks like they did catch out and bring down Pycat. Now G, trapped in the trees. Actually, sorry, it's KYXY on the run. He's going to try and get out of here. Double teleport to the top tower. Pulls in Misery. There's your crit. There's your damage. Down will go. Now the cogs keeping G in position. KYXY might look to man back up. They're going to find yet another kill. 3 heroes hit the deck for LGD.int. Lumi, these fights are chaotic, and that is not the kind of fight you want against the CK Wisp.
Yeah, the chaotic fight really benefits heroes like Puck, Clockwork, who has low but very spammable spells, long-range spells that allows you to catch up or disengage anytime you want. And I'm not exactly too sure why LG's trying to engage like this. Again, they have the better late game heroes. They farm better. Sure, they're down behind a ton of go right now, but that's mostly because they're fighting quite aggressively during nighttime. They're not really farming the jungle, or I know it's hard to farm against a CK Wisp, but you have the heroes to do it, especially when you have a Shadow Blade on Alchemist. So these plays are somewhat questionable, and they're not really winning the stage of the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, I would like to see them maybe go for a smoke bait. So you have a couple heroes parked behind one. Prophet can even just push out the lanes with his ultimate. You have decent split push from your supports. Heroes like Jakiro, lots of AoE, and let Orange initiate on you. We've seen teams really punish the CK Wiz combo that way in the past, but they'll go for the tier 1 mid now. It will go down to Ohio. LGD.int, they're losing ground, they're losing territory, and the more in the dark you are, the harder and harder it is to deal with CK Wisp. Orange, they'll back off. For them now, Lumi, what are some of Orange's next objectives? We're 20 minutes in. What should they be doing? Yeah,
they definitely should start looking to take the Roshan. They don't have a lot of physical damage. CK is kind of all of it, but they do have all the tier 1 tower up. So maybe if the team fight goes long enough, you have relocate, you have all the buyback you need, and you have the tier 1 tower. But it looks like LGN is going to try to top lane one more time. Where's that Wisp? Nowhere near anybody, so no teleport or no relocate support, but everybody have teleport heroes on the orange side. So.
I do want to point out, double BKB is coming soon for Orange. Clockwork just picked his up on the way, being delivered to Ohio right now. On the courier, Mushi's going for a Scythe device, but the big thing is, KYXY only 800 gold from his BKB. They win one more fight, Lumi. They have double BKB, and just as I didn't think Orange had a whole lot to do with the Gyro BKB, LGD has almost nothing to deal with the orange BKBs.
Not right now. They have things like Acid Spray. Oh, looks like they're going to make a go here right on KYXY. But the relocate backwards should be available. They're relocating right now, but the Burrow Strike is going to seal the deal, and Net's going to go down. He had all the time in the world to get that defensive relocate in.
Actually didn't even use it. Relocate's still on cooldown. Never even got it off. I'm shocked as well. They'll buyback instead. Going to be a double buyback. That coil caught everyone. Huge coil coming out from Ohio and Mushi. The cogs were there as well. But the BKB comes out from Pycat. The follow-up isn't going to be enough. KYXY's joining the fray. There's no Wisp. Do they even need her? Now your Phantasm comes out. That's going to help tank up some of this Gyrocopter nuke damage, but not enough, it feels. KYXY dropping low. On the run. Rocket comes in. Mushi trying to phase his way out of trouble. They're going to stun G. The Imps could be the tide turner here. G's low. He'll go down to Imps. Brax on the run as well. Mushi jumping in. There's your temporary escape from Brax, but can he get all the way out? Mushi orbing forward. Hunting for Brax. Relocate comes in. This could be 4. This could be bad. Brax might drop. Doesn't have any mana. No ways out. He will fall in the end. Orange, they do have to buy back on their CK, as well as the Enchantress, but at least they get 4.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like a really bad fight for Orange Esport. They gave away free tower. Buyback on CK. I thought they were going to lose the fight right after, and we were going to get ourselves a lot more of an even game, but turns out they win another team fight. The good thing here for LGN is that Gyrocopter made it out alive. A ton of gold in this bank. We'll be looking for yet another item, and they have a little bit more room to farm with. Misery TP right back. And Misery, look at the item he's going for. He's forced to get a BKB. He recognized that stuns are actually killing him right now. It doesn't matter if he gets Shadow Blade and have better split push. It doesn't matter if you have better damage and mobility. He just needs to survive in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, even getting off a Sprout in that top engagement almost made the difference to keep away Pycat safe. So being able to get off multiple Sprouts doesn't sound like a big deal, can be. And more importantly, you make sure you get off the ult, maybe you run away, waste some time. And if Pycat gets the... Oh, they're going to hook in now. Ohio jumps in with the BKB. Pycat says, haha, I have a BKB too. But Mushi jumps in on the backline heroes. He's got a double damage. He's going to work, going to town. Misery will fall 2 for 1 so far. Now, buyback from the Puck, trying to rejoin the fray, but doesn't have coil. Well, what can they do with this buyback? Here comes your backstab. They've got some cavalry coming in, but a 2-hero burrow strike yet again. Brax is hitting nothing but 2-hero burrows. Will it be enough? Hard to say right now. Pycat dropping low. Everybody focusing on the little helicopter man. Can he juke his way out? He can't. He's going to fall, but in exchange, he'll take down CK. Bushi now, well, he's 1v4. He'll back off 1v3, actually, and orb away. Has the blink. We'll use it now. A Demon Edge barely skating through on the courier. All sorts of chaos in these fights. Lumi, who's coming out on top?
I mean, both teams bought back. Puck bought back, and Prophet also bought back, and I don't think Puck will die here. CK Wisp died, but so did Gyrocopter. I think that was one of the more even team fights. You lost a Wisp, but I think losing a Wisp doesn't really matter at this point in the game. He is going for a mech, though. We're seeing the effects of having things like Flat Cannon as well as Acid Spray down on the playing field. your Wisp, no matter how well he's playing, he's just gonna die. 1K range, you just can't juke around that. So I guess it's a fairly
Pretty even.
Yeah, it's pretty even. To me, Mushi having the buyback, that's gonna delay the Hex. So again, I'm just questioning why LGD.int is playing for this mid game. They don't have to play for the mid game, but they're going for mid game items such as BKB on Nature's Prophet.
Well, if they can get this next item up on Pycat, though, the MKB, suddenly maybe the game gets easier. The one concern is going to be rushing the BKB. It's already down to 7-second cooldown. Soon it's down to 4, and that just feels like it might not be long enough against CK Wisp. And whereas you look at KYXY, hasn't even gotten his BKB yet, as delayed as it is. Once he gets it, again, they have a gyro who can deal a lot of physical damage, but he can just jump in and blow you up, and you can't stop him from getting off the combo. So the one thing for me for Orange, they just have to get the BKB. It's been so delayed. 25 minutes in, the buyback top, the death mid yet again. He could have easily had it 3 or 4 minutes ago. He's got to farm it before the next fight. Yeah, I feel if they fight without it, it's going to cost them the game. But, well, he'll have it in 100 gold.
Yeah, he's going to have it after this scoop wave, and I don't think anybody's going to stop them. And once BKB's up, what is really going to stop them? Sure, his Phantasm Illusion is not going to be at its prime, as we've seen Enchantress still farming very aggressively in the jungle. He's got to back off there. Speaking of Enchantress, he's well onto his way to something like an Axe Scepter, which, I mean...
Yeah, casual point booster, but we'll see. Hags could be a nice item. I feel a game where maybe Enchantress wants a BKB too.
Yeah, BKB is definitely not bad on her. Although, if she actually level up her Untouchable, which she has a completely maxed, I mean, maybe you don't need that BKB. You're
Tank
gonna
mode.
Yeah, you're just actually tanking up with the point booster and Nature's Ascendance. It's actually not bad.
I'm actually just a random mechanics thing. I don't actually know if Untouchable procs if you're attacking like a creep and then it flat cannons onto the hero. So
it doesn't.
Yeah, so that could be kind of a solution for it, but minor little mechanics thing. Either way, we'll see. For the time being, Orange, they're the ones sitting back and kind of restraining themselves, and I feel this is the tempo that LGD would prefer. This is where you farm up your MKB on your Gyrocopter. Maybe you get towards... Oh, Brax already has a Blink Dagger, actually. Just picked it up. That's such a big item for LGD. And the BKB coming soon for G. I actually think this game looking better and better for LGD. They are down by 3,000 gold. They're down by 6k experience. But to me, it feels like they have the kind of lineup that can easily win one big team fight with Epicenter, a nice set of flat cannons, and then turn the game around.
Yeah, the Blink Dagger on Brax, I don't think it's going to give you the 4-man Epicenter that normally Sanking are looking for, simply because you have just so much AoE deterrence with the puck. And
there's the rocket as well.
Yeah, the rocket's really the big thing. I think that what we really allow him to do is land those 3-4-man Burrow Strike that he's so accustomed of landing almost. It feels like that's what the hero's designed to do. And yeah, he's going to be a bigger and bigger factor in these team fight. If he actually finds that Epicenter that you talked about, that one big team fight, they could just come back, because I think they just need that one team fight to secure the tempo of the game. So far, it seems like they're already doing that. Now BKB's picked up on the Alchemist. So many BKBs in this game. Even though the items just got nerfed in the 6.78 patch, it's just a huge part of the game in terms of it's so good against all of the heroes in the game.
Maybe Ice Frog's sitting there smoking his corncob pipe and saying, well, next time, guys, it's going to be an 8-second max duration and it'll go down to 3. At some point, you'll stop buying it.
Say it ain't so, man. Say it ain't so.
Carry players everywhere cry.
Yeah.
Normally, Wisp does have a mechanism before 25 minutes. Thank you, Statsman. And, well, unfortunately, a few minutes delayed here still for that, but I still feel like you get the mech up, and because it's on Wisp, anytime you get it can make a huge difference. That's such a big burst heal for a hero like Chaos Knight.
Yeah, it really is, and it makes the rest of your team quite tanky. But for now, Orange Esports just farming away. I wonder what item they're really exactly looking for. They got the biggest one to me, which is CK BKB. Maybe they're looking for a finished type of ice on Mushi, as well as a finished Axe Scepter. Keep in mind the Enchantress improve attack range once her Axe Scepter is up, so that's a sizable amount of damage input.
Yeah, it keeps you a little bit safer in these fights. The one thing LGD don't really have, which Orange have way more of, is long-range initiation. Blink into silence, blink into coil, the hook shot as well. Even the CK Wisp is long-range since you can go wherever you want. Whereas you look at LGD, can they get to the Enchantress in the fights? They don't have a hero who can just jump across the battlefield, except for Sandcane. And for Brax, I feel he kind of needs to get off a big Epicenter, or at least 3-4 hero stun to turn the fight. So the Enchantress could ultimately turn out to be the secret weapon that turns this game for Orange. And there's your Shadow Blade for Profit, so just a casual Ogre Club.
Ogre Club just for the HP. I was just going to say if Profit...
It could be a Heaven's Halberd later on, which might even be better against CK.
That might not be a bad choice in this game here.
I mean, sure, he's got a BKB, but if he's not getting it off, if he's being chain stunned, or, I mean, even if the BKB wears off later on, also the evasion will just be very helpful, because KYXY isn't going to farm an MKB anytime soon.
I mean, earlier you were asking who's going to be the long-range initiator. If Prophet wants to play ultra-aggressive with this BKB and TP on the back line, that is an avenue, although whether you want to take that path is a different question. And there is another big item pickup in the form of an MKB finish, so it's not too bad in terms of the rate that LG is procuring item. And again, this just begs the question I asked 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. Why aren't they just playing passive build-up? Because they just have the better farming team. And
it's working a lot better for them. The gold graph starting to stabilize, pulling closer and closer to LGD and actually being even, only down by 2k gold. Essentially nothing for 30 minutes in, nearly at that. And 5,000 experience lead, not a big deal either.
Ooh, big dive on the mid lane here. Yeah, they did see it, and now there is a Scythe of Ice on Puck, so they could be...
Well, G's got a haste. It looks like he'll back off, at least for the time being. And LGD, can they take a big fight? They don't know about the Scythe of Ice, at least not yet. Mushi hasn't shown himself, so, well, it might be hard. I think he's going to farm with the orb here and not show himself. He'll actually TP to the tier 2. Tier 1's going to die instantly, though, and LGD, they'll take their gold and they'll back off. Yeah, I like the way they're playing now.
Yeah, there were a glyph available for Orange Esport, but the tower is simply too low HP.
It's just not worth it for a tier 1 at 30 minutes in.
Yeah, so I think the Scythe of Ice is actually a huge pickup here against LGD, because if you could Scythe the Alchemist before he pops his ultimate, he's probably dead, and he's spending a ton of gold, you know, basically BKB and Shadow Blade. You assume that he's going to do a ton of damage out, but he's not going for that utility mech build, which I like quite a bit here. And, well, let's see how much the Scythe of Ice is going to do.
For the time being, just confidence from Orange. Our Clockwork actually just strutting up the ramp, and that's where you're like, wait, what is he doing? Oh, right, they have CK Wisp on their team. You wouldn't be doing that otherwise. And, well, Ohio will start to push out this lane, now going for a casual cloak. This is a game where I think one of the biggest items Orange can pick up now, aside from big damage and tank items on CK, is the Aghanim Scepter on Ohio, because you get multiple hooks off in a fight. You can really neutralize what the Gyrocopter as well as the Alchemist are able to do, and we'll see a smoke from LGD.
Yeah, LGD and looking to do kind of a double backstab coming in from multiple directions. I don't think they're going to find anybody. In fact, if you get picked off quite easily, that could be it, because CK Wisp could easily chase down from multiple targets as well.
Oh, it's going to be a big wraparound here, and right at this moment, we'll have a pause.
Strategical pause?
Well, this is where Orange looks at the minimap and says, 5 heroes off the map. I wonder what LGD's up to.
Orange is saying the same thing. 5 heroes off the map. You know, it's quite a big smoke
LGD sees Ohio buff, so they probably figure there's at least three if not more here.
Yeah, they know the push is coming, and
well, neither team should be caught unawares. Not after that pause, but we'll see what actually happens. Tether for Net is available. They're going to go in. They're going to find Net first. This could be bad. He's going to get hit by the stun. He might just blow up. CK pops the BKB. No Phantasm yet. Dropping low to the flat cannon. Now gets his combo up, but Pycat with BKB. He's not taking any damage. In the end, they lose 3 in a jiffy. Wow, that pause for Orange, you would have thought they would have expected that at least something was up, but Lumi, they were just caught totally unawares.
Yeah, now they're going to go straight into the Roshan. The damage is not lacking here, and Roshan is something that you don't expect Orange Esport to lose at this stage of the game when they retain 4 of their outer 6 tower. They're doing so well, and now, I mean, this could be the turning tide of the entire battle. Wisp getting caught out like that. I'm not sure why he was there, but I guess you just don't expect a smoke gang coming up from that direction, but it really is a common smoke.
They're going to try it.
Coming, try to do some heroics, but not going to be brave enough to jump in.
Yeah, Mushi thinking, wanting to be the hero, but realizing that you jump in there, you're probably just going to die. And in the end, Orange is a team that does rely on getting the initiation off, because if Gyro pops his BKB, they just can't kill him right now. Not when CK only has a BKB, drums, and power treads, and now with an Aegis. You can't really go on Pycat anymore. You focus him down, he comes back with BKB flat cannon, probably turns the fight around. Well, maybe you go on him if he's at half HP and you're smoked up. Pycat's going to teleport out just in the nick of time. Mushi smoked up, but unable to find the kill. And LGD, this is where they really can play some passive defensive farm-oriented Dota. You get the Assault Cuirass up on G, you farm towards your Satanic on Pycat, and I feel Orange, that window might be closing, Lumi. They don't have a lot of physical damage. Their lineup somewhat suffers versus Pycat's BKB, and maybe the opportunities are slipping away from them here in Game 1.
Yeah, they're going for more items, but these items are, again, somewhat utility. You can see that another Ogre Club on the Chaos Knight. He's going to go for Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah, looks like it.
we've been talking about that acceptor for the longest time. Haven't actually found it because he's been dying every single team fight. So,
and even if you farm an Ags, this is getting to the point in the game where you need another item or two, or you'll still die to flat cannon.
yeah, or you need something like a Cyber Visor.
They're going to go in now. Bottom lane, Mushi. He sliced up 1437, but that means no sights for the carry heroes. Burrow through. Catches 2 from Brax. Could be trouble, but BKB's City comes out. G on the run, on the back foot, caught in the cogs. Wall and BKB. He'll even stun himself here. No, still BKB'd up. So won't actually eat the stun, but did take the damage. And now, well, can they find the kills? The BKB wears off. KYXY isolated. Will be brought down in a hurry. That's your physical damage off the battlefield. Now Mushi must run. The silence isn't going to connect on Brax. Has the gem, has the blink. They're still chasing, but can they find the kills? It looks like Mushi, no TP scroll. Well, he's juked them, Lumi. He'll get away, but Orange just seems like they can't really take fights anymore.
Yeah, CK didn't need to die there. Wisp had a one-way ticket out with a relocate. He did not actually tether to CK, and as a result, CK got really... They were on the complete opposite side of the battle, and that's not how your CK Wisp should be played. LGD gonna roll their way down for a tier 1 tower, looking for a tier 2, and again, the problem still remains. LGD Pycat still has that Aegis. And I just don't think that they could take another fight with CK dead. They might even go high ground here. In fact, that's exactly what I think they will do.
There is still a Dream Coil. There's no relocate for a few seconds, and, well, we'll see if they can make the fight work. There's a hook in, catches out just the one, and it will be an instant pick. Buyback for Misery. Call down. Going to be dodged pretty nicely by Net. He pops the mech. Mushi going to work. Can he be the hero? Ohio's BKB will be wearing off soon. The Spirit's doing a lot of damage. Brax low, but still alive. Pycat going back in. Still has his Aegis, even if he falls. CK not alive yet. If he is alive there, I feel it's a much different fight, but Mushi's going to jump in. Wants to pop the Aegis, can't do it. And Pycat thinking about a turnaround. Misery looking for the pick on Mushi. The Prophet ult bounces through, but it's not enough. I don't even know if it hit him there. Now KYXY, the stun lobbed in, still running. Can he get away? Looks like he should barely survive. And in the end, they even get the tier 2. They still keep the Aegis alive. Fantastic little fight for LGD.int.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is that Orange Esports didn't lose their high ground in that one push, but not losing high ground, as a result, you gave away 3 more kills. I'm not too sure, and KYXY is not going to get a little bit farmed, but he's not farming for anything important. He's farming for a Sage, which is okay. Meanwhile, AC's now completed on Alchemist. That's really the next tier of big items.
Problem is, CK's not a good farmer. He's not finding kills. We look at his record, and 4, 6, and 7, he's forced into this. What else could you go for? You pick up a Vitality booster, pretty much the same. No utility. You're never going to farm a heart. So, sure, it's a kind of a crappy item, but KYXY, no real choices at this point, and it just feels like LGD, like you said, have the better farming heroes, and, well, while the mid-game wasn't a completely smooth ride, there were some bumps along the way. Overall, they've been playing defensive Dota and reacting to Orange, and that's been working out much better for them through the mid-game.
Yeah, you were predicting that for that one big team fight, and off the victory of that team fight, they got the Aegis, and now it's smooth sailing from that point on. They're challenging a tier 2 up in the mid lane here, and there is the Wisp CK relocate. Let's see how they're going to
Here they go. They've got the Phantasm up. They do pull in Pycat, but he gets off the BKB. Still dropping fast to the illusions, but KYXY doesn't maintain his focus fire. Goes back for other heroes. Pycat still with Aegis. Pulled back in by KYXY. Man fight from these two. Who's going to win? Still life-stealing through. In the end, he will die. He loses the Aegis, but he'll come back soon. Now KYXY trying to get out of here with Reality Rift. G, he'll channel the stun. He'll lob it in now. One more hit should be the kill. Not even needed. Triple kill for G. Gyro only died the one time. Brax pushed back by the Cogs. Ohio on the run too. He's used his BKB. He's going for a side device, but he's not going to farm it with this additional death. That's going to be 4 heroes on the sidelines once he falls. The stun coming in any second. Ohio hits the deck too, and for me, the big thing in that fight was KYXY just needed to hit Pycat one more time with his Army of Illusions. Then Pycat comes back, doesn't have his BKB. Flat Cannon, well, he wouldn't have that anymore either because he just popped it. But he stopped focusing Pycat. He chased other heroes, and Pycat cleaned up.
Yeah, they really need to recognize that Pycat is a big part of the damage source. Epicenter was channel, or attempt to be fired off in the beginning of the team fight, but the Grey Cox pushed him away. So as soon as that happens, you know Prophet's not going to do as much. You know the AC Alchemist, who looks pretty scary, but it's just no Pycat damage output. So if they kill Pycat quick, they win that team fight.
I mean, now they can't do it because now he's got the Satanic. But
right.
I felt like in that fight they had the jump they needed. Even when he popped BKB, it didn't matter because CK Illusions still doing a crap load of physical damage. He's getting critted. He's dropping fast. But, well, sure they don't have Aegis, but now they've got arguably the better item because this gives you a second life. Something Aegis, well, sure it gives you another life, but maybe a very squishy one against Chain Stun. So Pycat, despite the fact that he's a 4-second BKB, he's now got a Satanic to work with as well. And game gets pretty hard from here. 79% win rate when Gyro picks up Satanic. That's pretty scary. And, well, while that stat's maybe a little bit skewed because, of course, if you're farming Satanic, you're probably doing pretty well anyway. it is really hard to kill Gyro twice when he's got Satanic and BKB.
At the same time, I mean, the 30-second flat cannon means usually he's not getting a second one off, and judging from how these team fights win, if team fights ends quickly, you're not gonna have the second flag, and having your gyrocopter alive may not guarantee the same amount of damage output as it was one patch ago. So,
well, do they need Gyro as much anymore? Now G's got a double damager modeled up, a Shadow Blade and an Assault Cuirass. I think he just picked that up a while ago, actually, but now he's working towards possibly an Abyssal Blade. They have a dual core Lumi. They ran a solo mid Alk. He didn't go for the early mech, but now that favors them because he'll be hitting very hard in his own right.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Misery. I mean, he's looking...
Actually, yeah, you're right. It's really a tri-core lineup, not a dual core.
Misery being hipster, not getting a level 16 ultimate at level 16. He's going to pick it up level 17. I guess a misclick or something.
Yeah, that's definitely a misclick. The cooldown reduction is nice, and the damage obviously fantastic. But regardless, Misery, he farms that next item. He starts to chip away at some of these heroes too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he even needs to get a damage out of it. If he picks up a Scythe of Ice and help his team focus a little bit better, that's all he really needs to do. Sand King's starting to become an issue as well in terms of damage output. And yeah, it's just not looking too good. Yeah, he's quite tanky with Axe Scepter coming on the way.
We'll show the gold graph again. So much action there for a little while. Forgot all about it. But the last time we saw it, Lumi, I think it was actually about a 2,000 gold lead for Orange. It's been a 16,000 gold swing since then. It's been all LGD.int all the way. They now lead by 14,000 gold, about a 10,000 experience lead. That's a little bit more negligible, but it's getting to that point where LGD.int, CK relocate ganks just aren't going to affect you anymore because all your carries have BKBs. You have a Gyro with the BKB, a Prophet with a BKB, as well as the Alchemist. And on top of that, they're tanky. They might be able to just win the fight head on. So Orange, well, they're feeling desperate now. They'll smoke up. They'll look for a kill.
Yeah, I mean, BKB is nice if you get to activate it. And this is where Scythe of Ice comes in. So Mushi looking for a Scythe target. It is instant, so it will match up that BKB.
But can they blow someone up during it? Gyro, probably not. They've got to find a squishier target. The smoke is revealed. Mushi knows something is up. He's going to jump in. He's going to Scythe Pycat. Immediately burrowed. The counter initiate from Brax. Pycat gets off his BKB, and this is going to hurt. In comes the Flat Cannon. KYXY not dropping too low, but everybody else is now the man mode from Alk. Slapping and chopping, and Pycat will clean him up. And in the end, well, Wisp, not even able to relocate in time, will end up going down. Her Spirity Corpse hits the deck, and that is probably, well, it's going to be very hard from here for Orange to fight on.
That's definitely it. G was out man-mulling the rest of the CK illusions and was bashing the main CK. GG is going to get called, and it was not an early GG. That was an easy round.
LGD.int, some resilience from them. Traditionally with this team, their story has been amazing early game team who usually dominates the laning stage, and when they do, they win. That was the story all throughout G League. Even after that, their weakness has normally been their mid game, their late game. Something that Orange also has struggled with to some extent, but LGD.int, they weather the storm, they play defensively, they buckle down, and they're going to take game one. They're 1-1 in the group, but well on their way to being 2-1 now.
Yeah, to me, they were banging their head into that break wall for a couple of times, and then they realized, oh wait, we have the better late game. Let's just farm, and that's what happened.
Let's just settle down.
There was like that 5 minute of do nothing, no rush, and that
really turned the game.
Yeah, like you have Alchemist Gold kicking in. You have Nature's Prophet Wrath kicking in, and you have Gyrocopter Flat kicking in. So they just slowly outpawn the enemy.
And you now have a level 3 Nature's Wrath as well.
That you gotta finish the game with the level 3 Nature's Wrath.
Opa Misery. Guys, that's gonna wrap up game 1. RG Sports, well, they drop 0-1 in the best of 3. Now, historically, Orange is 4-1, now 4-2 versus LGD.int all time, and that's just for total games played. I actually think one of their losses was in a best of 3, so I think they were undefeated as far as series go coming into this match, but they are going to drop game 1. We'll get ready for game 2. Going into game 2, Lumi, what should Orange be doing differently? Are there different strategies they should use? Was it the in-game decision-making? What can they learn from this game? How can they adjust to pave a way for a better game 2?
I really felt it was the in-game because they were leading by 6,000 goal at a certain point, and when you're leading with heroes like Puck, Clockwork, CK Wisp, you just need to pressure and pressure hard instead of letting the enemy team farm. If they want to farm, don't let them farm. Pressure tier 2, take the Roshan. They had the free Roshan for the longest time. They didn't challenge it themselves.
That one gank bottom was incredible. When they put CK Wisp, they dove the tier 2 top. They forced 2 TPs.
Yeah, that was great.
Simultaneously, they execute the 2-pronged attack. They have 3 heroes diving bottom. I feel like if we'd seen a bit more of that, just better use and abuse of the CK Wisp combo, could have been a different game. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for game 1. Of course, it's a best of 3. LGD.int looking for their second win in Group B. If they win this next game, they'll be 2-1 in the group. If Orange win it, we go to a deciding game 3. Game 2 coming up after this.